I bet you could have guessed what this lesson would be on. Now that we know how to add, subtract, and multiply fractions, this lesson is on dividing fractions. So one of the vocabulary words they use is reciprocals. So two non-zero numbers whose product is 1 are reciprocals. So for example, if you had 3/5, the reciprocal is 5/3. Because when we multiply these together, we end up with 15 over 15, which equals 1. So these two are reciprocals of each other. So in order to divide fractions, we multiply by its reciprocal. It's really easy. If you know how to multiply fractions, you're going to be able to divide fractions. There's only one thing you need to remember. So if we had 2/9 divided by 3/7, instead, we flip the second fraction, we take its reciprocal, and we multiply. So 2/9 times 7/3 gives you 14 over 27. So all we have to remember is multiply by the reciprocal. Let's do an example. So again, we always assign the negative sign to the numerator, meaning the top. And in this case, now we need to multiply by the reciprocal. So we have to keep our negative 3/7 the same, but now we're going to multiply by 11 over 6. And this will simplify here. Let's write it how we did in the previous section, over 7 times 6. And then we still use the rules for multiplying and divide out these common factors. So for example, this can become -1 because they're both divisible by 3. And in that case, there's nothing else to simplify, so we're left with -11 over 14. That's all you need to do for this. So it's following the same multiplication rules. You just have to remember the first step, change it to a multiplication problem by multiplying by the reciprocal. So go ahead and try this one below and see how you do. The next example, that you could have guessed it, what if we have a mixed number? Well, we always write the mixed number as improper fractions first. That's the first thing we do. So 3 times 8 is 24, plus 1 is 25. We just put the negative on top, so treat it as if there was no negative sign in front, and then assign it to the numerator. If you try to multiply by -3 and then add 1, you're going to get the wrong answer. So just treat it as if it were just 3 and 1/8. Figure out the improper fraction and keep the negative. Divided by 1 times 14 plus 1 is -15 over 14. Now we need to multiply by the reciprocal. So this actually is going to become 8 over, and we can keep the negative sign up top. Oops, I'm making a mistake. I'm sorry for that. -25 over 8 times, keep the negative sign here, -14 over 15, but we've still switched it. If you brought it to the bottom, it wouldn't matter. It's going to cancel out in the end anyway. So -25 times -14 over 8 and 15. Let's still simplify this. So 25 and 15 are both divisible by 5, so we're left with 3 and -5. Here we can divide by 2, so -7 and 4. 5 times 7 is 35. Negative signs cancel, so we're left with 35 over 12. Then we can switch this back to be a mixed number. So we can write this as 2 and 11/12. So try the problem down below. 2 and 22/25 divided by 3 and 3/10. Remember to make them improper fractions before beginning. And use the rules written here to help guide you through the problem. what happens if we have a whole number divided by a mixed number? So it's really not that different. So in this case, you're cutting strips of cloth out of a 36 by 45 inch piece of cloth. You want each strip to be 45 inches long. So that means our width is going to be 36 inches. But each one's going to be 3 3/8 inches wide. So how many strips can you cut? So the number of strips equals the cloth width divided by the width of each strip. So in this case, it's 36 divided by 3/8. So 3 3/8, which we got from above. So the first step is we need to write this as an improper fraction. So 27 over 8, and then we're going to multiply by the reciprocal. And this gets us to the point where we can then simplify anything. So 27 is divisible by 3, and 36 is also divisible by 3. So we're left here. So 12, well actually, look, I didn't simplify it as far as I could because 3 still goes into 9, and 3 goes into 12. So we're left with 4 times 8, 32 divided by 3. And then we can write this as an improper fraction, or a mixed number. So 32 over 3 is going to be equal to 10 2/3. So that's how many strips we could get. So really we can only get 10 in the size we need because this is a remainder and it's not enough. So 10. So I want you to go ahead and try this problem, 72 divided by 9 3/5, using the same steps we've done before. And that's all for this lesson. So go ahead and try this problem, and then make sure all your notes are written down in your Math Wheels notebook.